Panic Room is here on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray, released by Sony. It can be found as a non-exclusive steelbook available at your online retailers. Director David Fincher's films have been getting the 4K treatment in recent months, and now we have one of his most requested finally arriving on the format. Of all his work, I personally wouldn't put it in my top 5, though it's still a good thriller. For me, though, Forrest Whitaker, Dwight Yoakam, and Jared Leto are the highlights and keep the story going. It was really good revisiting this one for the first time since my DVD days. Panic Room on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray has an aspect ratio of 239:1. It was finished at a 4K digital intermediate, and it supports both HDR10 and Dolby Vision. For purposes of this review, I will be discussing the Dolby Vision transfer. Sony's 4K edition of Panic Room is the latest of the Fincher films to make it to the format. Admittedly, some have met with mixed results. The transfer is a result of a new 4K restoration from the original camera negative elements. Keep in mind, however, that the film's multitude of CGI camera shots looks still to be rendered in 2K. I only mention this as there tends to be some slight inconsistencies with the overall image as far as what is able to be considered true 4K. Is it something most will really notice? Most likely not, but at the same time, the picture never approaches optimal clarity. Considering the film never made it to Blu-ray from DVD, I'd say this is still an appealing option over the DVD version. As far as some under-the-hood elements, bit rates typically hit the 80s and above, and the transfer sits comfortably on a 100GB size disc. Grain resolves fairly well, but occasionally fluctuates mildly in some dimly lit scenes. Now, I did notice, which very well could be baked in from the source, as my memory is a bit fuzzy on the DVD transfer, there appears to be some sharpening to the picture. Is this a deal breaker? For some that are sensitive to it, perhaps. Edge enhancement is indeed visible, but for me personally, I didn't find these things too troubling. As far as detail goes, there is some satisfying depth to textures, but I wouldn't classify it as a revelation. Some shots look a bit more defined than others, but as a whole, it's a certain improvement over what was available before. With that said, in some cases, there is something quote-unquote off. I noticed this more than once when there was a close-up of Jodie Foster. She looked borderline waxy. Fincher has been tinkering with his films that make the jump to 4K, so management may have well been applied here. Both HDR and Dolby Vision flavors are provided, which at best offers a subtle refinement to the palette. Colors are generally subdued by default, but there is an inkling of boldness to the cool visuals in the source. Black levels I was concerned would be problematic, but I felt were nicely rendered overall, which is no doubt assisted by the strong disc encode. Dolby Vision certainly keeps the shadowy dark interiors in check, properly conveying the film's tone well. Shadow detail is serviceable, but does appear to struggle slightly. Panic Room on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray supports a Dolby Atmos audio mix, which folds down to a Dolby True HD 7.1. There are also international options available. The film's upgraded Atmos track is a welcome addition and offers a nicely detailed experience. The use of dynamic camera placements adds to the immersive feel of the track, giving the entire surround environment plenty to do. There are some fun, subtle audio cues that add to the immersion, but when things start happening, they really start happening. Height channel output is mostly complementary with a few discrete audio cues thrown in. It's not particularly heavy-handed, it doesn't really move freely up there, but some occasional bits of the film's sound design push through. Mid-level and rears are slightly more dynamic than what the heights offer. There's plentiful activity throughout, but once again, the roving camera puts on a show, the dismantling of the house as the intruders try to break through, footsteps, etc. Dialogue is clean through the center with no issues. The LFE is pretty solid overall. It occasionally packs a punch, but never hits overly aggressive levels. The crashing of walls, slamming of doors, all put some rumble into the mix. On a separate Blu-ray disc, the film's bonus materials have been ported over from the old DVD version. Some legacy audio commentaries are included, one with the director, another with the cast, and a third with the writer. Unfortunately, there are no new extras included here. Most of what's here should be well known to fans who have been clutching onto their DVDs. To be fair, there is some solid behind-the-scenes and technical featurettes included. I found the one titled Digital Intermediate to be very interesting, especially with the information we now know some 23 years after the fact. For the picture quality, I'm going to give Panic Room on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray a B. Sony's transfer arguably is the best of what we can expect from the source, and it is no doubt an improvement over the DVD. Just be forewarned, it's not a showstopper in a visual sense, but as long as expectations are kept in check, it's worth picking up. For the audio, I scored it a B+. I found the Atmos to be a nice addition to the film's sound design. There are some pretty immersive moments that keeps the viewer engaged, both of the subtle and active variety, and it's a fun experience overall. It's a good mix for the most part. For the extras, I graded them a B+. It's a real shame that nothing new was included as far as bonus materials go, but what is here is pretty informative. For new viewers, you'll get some good stuff. For longtime fans and owners of the DVD, it's pretty much old hat. So that is my review of Panic Room on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray from Sony. If you're interested in picking up a copy for yourself, I will leave a direct Amazon link in the comment section. But if you have the disc already, let me know your thoughts down below. In the meantime, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. So until next time, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365. I will see you at the movies.